What's up, everyone? Welcome to Around the ACL. Michelle Thompson here with Jake Brandon and Anthony Ione, and we are excited to talk everything Spencer McKenzie's. That's right, it's the Throwdown all the way over in the West Coast. So Cali, baby, Ventura, California, a huge tournament, festival, party, music, all the things. Anthony, you haven't been yet, right?
I've never been.
That's so crazy.
Yeah,
and you're
been.
So close.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it, as a player, and then as a after the playing days ended, and it was on the content or the commentary team. It was all the same. As soon as Worlds ended, I got to go answer to the wife, and how do I tell her? Oh yeah, by the way, there's another one. There's another event.
It's not
that
over.
I'm going to go to. Right in the face, So
yeah, but then you get all of September off. It's fine.
It's fine.
A whole month.
It's fine, babe. Everything's cool. Don't even worry about it.
It's true. Unless you said the cornhole season ends, like after August. That'd be the only way to get around it.
Yeah. I got to set the expectations early at the very beginning.
Exactly. Oddly enough, I mean, it is 6-hour drive from me, obviously, and even a 45-minute flight. But I've only been twice, so it's kind of weird. But not going this year. So, and Jake, are you going this year?
I am. Yeah, I my flight leaves at 7 a.m. tomorrow. It actually works out perfectly. The airport bar is open at 6. My flight starts boarding at 6:30, so that's plenty of time to relax and have a beverage before I hit my. I think it's about just under 5-hour flight from Baltimore to LA. So that'll be nice and fun. And and we'll get ready to go. It's going to be a fun weekend. I love coming to this event, man.
Wait, are you on the boards or are you on the mic this time?
Oh, I'm on the mic, man. I'm on the mic. Okay. My days of playing are over. Ever since me and my buddy Zach, we played a couple of years ago. We went 7-0 in our pool. We won our first 2 games. Had to play AJ Sims and Braden Wilson. We're up 18-0 and then lost 21-20. And I said, I'm never playing again. This place.
Retiring. Man.
I'm calling it all weekend with Trey. It'll be a fun one.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
That's
awesome.
Nice. I played last year with Maddie, owner of Dragon Bags. We had a blast. And we actually did pretty good. We had some pros in our pool and we hung in there. So I was proud of us. But super fun event. That is obviously.
Speaking of calling it, I was just before we go too far. Where can we find it? Is it going to be ESPN? Is it YouTube? Is it?
I'm pretty sure it'll be on ACL's YouTube and Facebook page for sure.
Oh, good.
I think we may be also doing the ESPN Plus live stream again, but yeah, just more of a live stream. Almost the exact same format we did last year with the streaming on YouTube and Facebook, and as well on ESPN Plus.
Okay.
That's going to be electric, unless no Cali players make it.
I hope so. And
empty seats.
Nobody will go.
Yeah, right. So we'll see.
No, just kidding. All right, we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, we got to talk about some of the new pro teams that have formed. The ones that I saw just from social media is going to be Colin Hodette and Gage Landis, Sammy Soto and Colby Shearer, Spencer Fabianar and Tony Forbes, and Bobby and Chad Hunt. Anthony, tell us what you think.
Yeah, so last week, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch. We did talk about Kano and Chamberlain in detail. Obviously that partnership's swapping up, and then Soto and Shearer. We kind of touched on those a little bit last week, but yeah, I mean, if you talk about the ones that you just mentioned, I don't know. What do you think, Jake? I mean, are Colin Hodette and Gage Landis really a threat to the top 10? I have an answer, but I'm curious at what you think out of the gate. What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, I was actually going to mention it because I don't know if it's like location bias, because Gage doesn't live super far from me. So I see him at a lot of local events that I go to, as well as, regionals and conferences and stuff like that. But the buzz that I've been hearing from around my local area is that this is a really good, a really strong team. And I don't disagree. I think Gage Landis kind of hit his ceiling last year with his run in singles. And obviously with Zach Scheibner going on the paternity list for a little bit, they didn't have the greatest run in doubles. But I think that, no shade to Scheibner, and then I know he's going to hate me for saying this, he's going to talk crap, but I think Colin Hodette is an improvement for Gage Landis on the pro double side. So I'm really interested in seeing what this team can do. Now, are they top 10 worthy? That in my opinion, is a bit of a stretch, at least for right now. I think they're top 20, absolutely. Top 15, I could probably put them in there as well, but calling them a top 10 this early right out of the gate is a little bit of a tougher test for me, but I do really like the team of Colin and Gage.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to have him inside 20. I was really fighting with myself to be able to say that they would be top 10 worthy. I mean, I think with what Hodette did this past season in singles, he kind of proved a lot to us on what he's capable of doing. Gage has had a couple breakout performances, mostly in doubles, a little bit of a show in singles. But I think what's going to be important for Gage in this upcoming season is he just going to be one of those players that all the pros look at as a guy to get through to be top 10. You could almost say a guy like Jimmy Humans is that. If you could beat Jimmy Humans, you're in the mix, but he's really not the guy that you're trying to get to or the guy you're trying to beat. He's just kind of that milestone to say that you're in the next level of talent. And Humans is my boy. I know he's going to smack me around for that one a little bit, but I almost feel like Gage Landis is becoming a similar player. I'd like to see him really break out on his own in singles and show that he's a top guy in the league. But I think together it's questionable. And if you look at the next one, Fabianar and Forbes, very similar. What do you think, Jake? Hodette Landis, Fabianar Forbes, who finishes higher next season?
That's a really tough one.
Tough, right?
I think they're very, very similar, and especially if you come into the recency bias, especially the event that we're getting ready to talk about and go to, the Throwdown, with how well they performed together at the Throwdown. They played in a couple of opens last season as well. They played pretty well. I really, really like the team. I think it's one of these high ceiling, low floor types of teams. I think I may give them a slight advantage over Hodette and Gage. I feel like if you put a gun to my head, I think I would feel more comfortable putting them in a top 10 over Colin and Gage. But man, they are neck and neck, and I am very, very intrigued to see what these two can do in an actual pro circuit now, not playing all the elite level players in the open division.
Dude, I'm feeling the exact same way. We spent too much time on the mic together because you're literally like reading my mind on what I want to say. But yeah, to finish up my thoughts there, Meesh, I'm big fans of Bobby and Chad Hunt. Just from I don't know Bobby on a personal level. He seems like a pretty quiet guy, but I'm a watcher. I like to see how people interact with other people, listen to what people say about other players. And I hear a lot of good things about Bobby Hunt. I've gotten to know Chad Hunt a little bit. I really like what I see with them as people and teammates. I just don't know if they have they just haven't had what it's taken to really break out. Do I think they can do it next season? I kind of feel like they would finish similar. Nothing inside top 10, maybe barely scratching top 20. But good dudes, and I like to see them. Really, where I want to finish up is what's up with these guys? And we have these teams out there that really haven't declared, and maybe you guys have seen stuff. I mean, every day we're looking through the socials trying to see who's announcing a new partnership, but we're assuming Richards and Smith are going to be together. Do you guys know for sure if there was like a multi-year contract or anything out that says they're definitely together next year?
Nothing off the top of my head, but there's no way.
That's what I'm thinking.
They
right?
break up, right? Probably one of the, if not the best single season performances on a double side ever. There's no way they can break up. So I think everybody just kind of brushed them away because everybody assumes that they are saying.
We've seen number ones break up before, but I agree. All right, now let's take Graham and Trzynski. Have we seen an announcement on them, and are you in the same state of mind on that team?
No announcement on them, but I don't know if I'm in the same state of mind, right? Because, again, they finished as a number 2 team in the country, yeah, but I don't know if I feel like Jamie Graham could do better, man. I think Trzynski had a pretty
second half of season. Trzynski is concerning. First half, don't change that team at all.
No, absolutely, and that's what I was getting ready to say. I think the second half of the season really scared me for Jacob Trzynski, especially on the singles side, because he was a top 10 player on singles at the beginning of the season, and he just completely fell off like a rock. So what happened? Is that something that Jamie Graham thinks he can help Jacob Trzynski work through, or is Jamie looking to the stars and saying, hey, maybe I can find a different pro partner? Because, I mean, looking back, besides Matt Guy, I'm not sure if Jamie Graham has had a pro partner for more than one season ever.
Yeah, and that's why I actually hope that these guys run it back. I agree that the way that Trzynski performed last year, there's an improvement opportunity there, right? But I think I was saying last week, I think Trzynski comes out. He's that kind of guy. He's got that just dog mentality that he looks at last season and goes, "There's no way in hell I'm going to run it back like this. I'm going to be bigger, better, stronger, faster. Whatever it is for next season, and keep up with the Jamie Graham." But we could also talk about the world champs Hissner and Birchfield. Have we heard an announcement on them?
No, nothing yet.
No. What about Power and Bubenheim, our number 5 in the world?
There's no way they're breaking up. There's no way.
Really?
Yeah.
No way. Okay.
No, I'm telling you, not from any kind of insider information, but they love playing with each other. I would be shocked.
It would have to be a bag sponsor, right? Bag sponsorships drive partnerships. And then just to finish it up, Harbaugh Ellis, Quinn Reeves, Austin Wasco, Alex Rawls, Derek Holland. I think they were our number 10. Ethan Walker, who's he with? Jay Rubin, and then Rawls Kingsbury. Those are kind of the ones at the top of my list on where I want to see these teams land.
Yeah. The only thing I know for sure is that I'm almost positive that Ethan Walker and Cody Henderson are splitting up, because I think I've seen the who do you guys think my pro partner will be for next year post from Ethan Walker. So besides that, I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine Rawls and Kingsbury split up. They've been together forever. I can't imagine anybody else off the top of my head splitting up.
Hissner and Birchfield? I don't know. I think Trey's leaving Adam. I think he's leaving Adam.
I think he
or
will
is
too,
Adam leaving Trey?
Okay, well, Trey did a lot better in singles.
True.
I mean, I think he has a good chance of grabbing himself a better partner than what Adam finished.
Hey, really quick before we change gears, one more thing. Bobby and Chad Hunt, we talked about them new pro teams. Let's not forget, I feel like a lot of people don't remember this. We go back to Spencer McKenzie's last season. They were one of the final 4 teams on that broadcast.
Dude, they were good too.
Nobody remembered that. They had a fantastic run there. They're running it back this year as well. Look out for them. If they can have another good run at Spencer McKenzie's, that is going to give me a ton of confidence for them going into this next pro season.
They did good at Worlds too last year. They had a good run. So definitely possible. But let's move into Spencer McKenzie's. We have a lot of teams. What was it? Almost 600 teams or something. So big roster. Going to be a super fun event. We'll start with you, Jake. Who's standing out to you in this massive list of players?
Yeah, right. So obviously, one of my main jobs here is to write blogs. And I sat down this morning and I wrote a preview out for the Spencer McKenzie's Throwdown. But it was kind of weird, right, on a preview standpoint, because usually when I write these previews, I have brackets to go off of. I'm looking at the paths that I think these players are going to make when they play against these people. I don't get that with the Throwdown, right? Because it is strictly pool play on Saturday, and then once pool play is done, they all get seeded into these double elimination brackets on Sunday. So all I have is this giant Google sheet that has all of these players and teams in these pools. Let me scroll down to the bottom here. All 98 of these pools that are going through. So I went through each and every single one of them this morning, and I just I wrote down who I think or what I think are some good pools. I'll start with pool number 13. This is one of the more stacked pools that I have. You have teams like Carter Bennett and Ben Brown, who both have pro experience. You have Nicholas Clow and Jamie Graham, his brother Stephen Graham, in it as well. You have Kobe Costanza and Tyler Cobb, who have a lot of chemistry, but you also have Colin Hodette and Austin Kipple, 2 players that aren't necessarily normal pro partners, but both players have a ton of experience. But again, the big factor here at Spencer McKenzie's, for those of you who have never been, is the outdoor conditions and the wind coming off of that Pacific Ocean. It's going to be cool. It is going to be windy. It is going to be really tough for these players who do not have flat bags. Colin Hodette, while he is very good, he does have one of those naturally tilted left to right bags. So I'm very curious to see how he can handle the wind. We look further down. I mean, there are just players filled all over it, right? How about pool 50? One of my biggest sleepers in the entire event, Sal Sandoval and Richard Nyberg, both players from the West Coast. We mentioned that. We'll talk about that in a little bit in buy or sell. But, you know, Richard Nyberg made it through the pro qualifier, one of the best elite players towards the end of the season. Throw South Sandoval in there, who was one of the best in the Winthrop Cornhole area as well. So that's a really good team too. Then you look down in Pool 60. How about Jamie Graham and Eric Davis, the defending champs? They are a very, very scary team. They have very good chemistry, obviously coming off of a world championship together with the Carolina Coasters. I love that a lot. Looking more, let's see, how about Pool 67? You got the hometown heroes, Spencer Fabianar and Tony Forbes. After the fantastic run they had last season, they're running it back. Sorry for everybody who's in Pool 67. Selfishly, I really want them to make another deep run just so we get another huge crowd for the broadcast like we had last season. I know we talked about that earlier. How about Pool 71? Another tough pool. You got Sammy Soto and Gavin Cano playing together, probably one of their last teams as partners. One of their last events, I should say, as partners together. You also have a team of Ryan Trader and Cameron D'Ambrosio, who both had good runs at the World Championships this past week, a couple weekends ago. So look out for them as well. But another sleeper team, the third team in that Pool 71, you got the team of Donovan Vasquez and Devin Nelson. Now, I know a lot of people don't recognize those names. They are two players local to the state of California as well, but they are some of the very quickest rising young stars that I have seen in quite a while. Really quickly, another team in the Pool 81, another one of my big sleeper teams. How about this? Hayden Gonzalez and Zach Aiken. If this tournament were inside, they maybe might pick to win the entire thing, but I'm not sure how they will play outside. But I'll tell you right now, if they can adjust to the conditions, both Zach and Hayden, I really, really like their chances to make a big, deep run. Finally, really quickly, Pool 86, another ridiculously tough one. You got Logan Chamberlain and Justin Burton Jr., made the Final Four last season. You have Levi Haddock and Gio Mora, another West Coast kid in Gio, and another Texas boy in Levi Haddock, who is very good as well. And then you have my hometown boys, Zach Owens and Steve Trissel. Look out for them as well. But, man, these pools are going to be fun to watch, and it's so hard to predict how the brackets are going to shape out.
Let it be known that Logan, JBJ were in my pool. Not fun, people. Not fun. Don't recommend it.
Can you take an L in these pools? Like, is it you could take 2 losses and still make it?
I think so. So from what I've heard, 6 teams in each pool. The top 3 teams will make tier 1. The middle 2 teams are in tier 2, and the bottom team in each pool will be in that 3rd tier in the lower bracket. So I think the math works out. You can probably withstand 1, maybe 2 losses and still be good.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I was picking my brain on the history of McKenzie, trying to think of all the winners. So I leveraged some of the OGs. I just hit up, let's see, Hissner, Windsor, Kamba, Harbaugh, Graham, just some of these guys that have been around for a really long time and trying to help me put together the list of winners. Because remember, this goes back way like pre-ACL on ESPN. I mean, we're talking maybe like 2010, 11. They were out in the streets, between the sidewalks, like literally in the streets.
I mean,
playing this
I
game.
think you can go on YouTube and find some super old clips of events from the Throwdown. I'm talking, like you said, like 2013, 14. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. So, in no particular order, but pretty dang close to the order. Obviously, we have Graham and Davis taking it down last season. Jay Rubin and Power, remember they came off of the World Championship and then took down McKenzie, took down the 2 biggest paydays of the season. Just needed to win those 2 events really to lock up a money-worthy season. Harbaugh and Windsor have a lot of history. Eric Davis and Sorrells surprised us. That one was like 4 or 5 years ago. But when you have Eric Davis in that kind of condition, I don't think you're ever surprised. We've got some OGs like Baldwin and Jordan taking it down. Henderson and Hissner was questionable. A couple thought that they won it, but some thought that they didn't. I wasn't sure about that one. Jamie Graham taking it down when Trevor Brooks back in like 17, 18. I should say Windsor's won this thing 3 times. I think he might be the winningest McKenzie guy of all times. Twice with the Cedro and then the one time with Harbaugh. And then it kind of goes back into history where we kind of lose some of the math, but I just wanted to share what we were able to dig up. But it would be cool to kind of get a full list of the history of McKenzie winners. Just kind of looking at the current roster. Hey, big picture. When you look at the top 9 doubles team in the ACL Pro division, you're either going to have both there as partners or half. We talked about Richards and Smith, obviously the number one team in there. Jamie Graham not playing with Trzynski. They're going to split up, as Jake was saying. Graham with Davis, Trzynski with Noah Almanza. So that's going to be a little bit of a mix-up. And they might have played last year together. I can't recall. Logan Chamberlain and Justin Burton Jr. are third in the division. Kano and Soto, you mentioned 4. We're going to have Bubenheim and Power in the mix at 5. Harbaugh and Windsor, because of that history together, you're going to get Harbaugh and Windsor. They've kind of always, or at least in the recent years, been teaming up together. So they're obviously going to be tough, even though Windsor not showing, an indoor level of play that we saw this year. You get them outside at McKenzie, I think things change a little bit. Don't be surprised if Ryan Windsor and Harbaugh make it all the way to the end. Braden Wilson and AJ Sims are number 7 in the pro division that are going to be there. We're going to get Guy Nation out there, number 8. Quinn Reeves and Waskow were number 8. We're missing Rawls and Holland. Unless they showed up on the recent roster, we're going to be missing Rawls and Holland. They're the top 10. So what I'm saying is when you look at the top 10 pro players in the ACL, you're basically going to have all of them in the mix. So that's really going to mix things up. Kind of some guys, Meesh, that I'm looking at that kind of, and you get outside of the top 10 teams that are interesting. We've got Chamness and Trader. We saw what they could do this year. That's Mason Trader. They're going to be in the mix. Some OGs like Zockline and Kamba. I really like seeing a team of Gonzalez and Aiken out there. And as we talk about McKenzie, we always got to remember, like Jake was saying, is you're going to be outdoors. So whatever we know or think of with indoor conditions, the board speeds, the ability to throw without wind, those kind of things. Once you add those factors, everything changes. So you really got to look at those kind of players that can be successful. Flat bag is going to be important, like Jake was talking about. I think lower trajectories are going to help quite a bit. The higher you get up into the air, these things turn into kites. You're going to have bags just going all over the place. And Jake, you felt it and played it on the beaches in Cali. So that's going to be tough. I really like seeing Ethan Walker and David Moores. David Moore is one of those guys that really showed out to me this season, an improved player. Pairing up with an Ethan Walker, I think they can be really tough. And then there's just a long list of other players. Is there anyone that was deeper into the list, Jake? Maybe some Cali guys. We're going to get Norton and Gilbert. They're always fun. Do we think they could win it? Not so much, but they're going to be a blast to hang out with, really add to the experience. Any other names that you saw out there, Jake?
Oh, yeah, there's a couple of them, right? You got, like you mentioned, Noah Almanza, Jacob Trzynski. They're kind of interesting to me. They both have success at the Throwdown, especially in that Crew Cup. Remember that a couple years ago, that crazy backside airmail to win Crew Cup for Almanza. That was really fun to watch. How about Jackson and Jacob Gore, all right? They have their moments, they have their battles and struggles together, but the fact of the matter is they have had deep runs at every single Throwdown. A couple of years ago, they were 1 win away from making a TV broadcast. They had another good run last season. So I expect big things from them again out here because they are very, very good at adapting to the conditions. I got to mention Eric Zockline and Jordan Kamba just because Jordan Kamba has that success from years past playing with James Baldwin. I did have Ethan Walker and David Morse up there as well. I also like the team of Gage Landis and Logan Dukler, man. These two kids, they play with each other a lot in that southern Pennsylvania area. So they're teams that I'm looking out for as well. But I do have one question, right? Because the main factor when you bring up the outside conditions, you bring up the wind, you bring up the struggles that people have. A team like Matt and Brett Guy, right? No shot they go far in this, right? Because with how Matt Guy throws his bags, there's no way. What are your thoughts on that, Anthony?
Man, so you talk about throwing a flat bag. The thing that Matt Guy does, and it's really hard to explain. The best way I can explain it is it's not flat, but it wobbles in the same plane. It's equally left, and then it's equally right. So if it's going to curve right, it's going to curve back left. I almost picture his bag kind of going through the air kind of like an S motion, but ultimately end up at the board. What's going to kill Matt Guy and anybody who's going to rely on their airmail is the airmail. If you're trying to win on the back of an airmail, you're in trouble. You got to have a good push bag. I think the roll is a safer choice in high winds, even though it's all going to be pretty hard. But a lot of times on for one on for one is actually good in some cases.
Yeah, and you mentioned Alex Rawls, by the way. He is playing with Matt Sorrell, so he must have registered after you got the list. But
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
an interesting team there.
Florida.
I almost want to disagree with you, Anthony, on that. The roll is safer than an airmail, right? Because you got to think about it. A normal player, their bag's going to come out flat. If you put that backloaded tilt on it, or even a cut action on that roll, and there's even a small gust of wind, that bag is taken off like a kite. I mean, I know I've experienced it firsthand. I think I'd almost would be safer with an airmail in some scenarios rather than a roll, because I know either or, if I throw a roll and it gets picked up by a gust of wind, that thing ain't even touching the board.
My only thought on that is, on an airmail, you're shooting to the edge of the board. You're shooting from 9 inches from the edge. A roll bag, you're typically shooting center of the board or somewhere center. So if it does get an extra burst of speed or slowed down, you typically are on for one. That's the only reason I like the airmail. Or the roll. It's probably not going to roll once it hits, but I think you'll have a lot of ons for ones over airmails.
When there's a lower trajectory too, that's going to be better. So you can, if you're airmail, you're going right into the wind theoretically. And as the lower, I guess if you have like a line drive airmail, that might be better.
Yeah.
Just some thoughts on players that actually I think could play. How many times have you seen Samantha Finley throwing outdoors in Florida on that funky little like 3-hole, whatever that game is she plays, where there's like a whole like front corner? So she's really good at throwing low trajectory bags, hitting holes that aren't really there in the game, but playing in really sticky, humid conditions, or windy conditions, maybe of outdoors. And then how about Kingsbury? I feel like this guy throws anything outside, through a pool, wet, whatever. Like, I don't think he's going to be bothered by anything that he's going to see.
Yeah, and you guys didn't mention, but Ethan Farias, Gabe Clausen playing together, a great team. And then Adrian Brunson, Vincent Frisch. So these are some of the very flat bag throwers that could definitely make some noise.
Hey, maybe a final shout out to the Cobbs. I think this is their retirement run. I do see Tice and Tubby. I see all the Cobbs on the list. So maybe their last run. They did mention their retirement. So shout out to those boys.
Always a good time to have the Cobbs there. In addition to our amazing pro players, we're also having some celebrities show up. This is a fun event. It's going to be on Saturday, August 23rd from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific. So that is 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be 12 rounds, and it's celebrity teams playing together. So not a celebrity and a pro, but celebrity with celebrity. And then I believe, I don't know how much you know about this, Jake, but there's apparently a pro coach for the team. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, I don't know who the pro coaches are going to be yet. That has yet to be decided, but I believe each team represented by a color will have a pro representative to try to guide them through shot selections and tell them what to do. So that'll be pretty entertaining to watch.
I think that's going to be really fun. The question is, will they play slow enough for the coach to be able to actually be like, hold on, let's talk about this shot before we throw it? Because I mean, I know it took me a while as a cornhole player just to pause before I threw. It's just like an automatic walk up throw. So curious to see how that plays out. But we're going to have some return celebs like Chuck Liddell and of course Shemar Moore, David Lim, Terry Kirby. Now, I don't know if I have the right audience here in front of me, but there are some bachelors. Okay, I'm sure you guys are.
Who are these people? Who are these celebrities? I don't know these people.
Tyler Cameron. I'm a huge Bachelor fan. Been watching it for years. Tyler Cameron is a massive Bachelor celebrity, so I know all you boys are super excited to see him. But he'll be there. In addition to, I think we're having, oh no, I don't see him on there, but Kel Mitchell was at one of our Worlds events. He was amazing. Who else do we got on this list? Anyone else standing out to you guys?
Kel Mitchell is the one I'm most excited for, man. I tell you what, I grew up watching Nickelodeon, watching all that, and Keenan and Kel. So I am so psyched to see him.
But a funny story about Kel, though, is when I met him at Worlds last year, he looks the same, by the way. Like, you would not believe that it's like 20 years later. And I go, how do you still look so young? And he's like, I drink a lot of water. And I was like, all right, apparently that's all it takes.
No, but Terry Kirby is really fun for me. I've met Terry Kirby because he's done this a couple times as well. He's a great guy. He's also still really good at cornhole because he will play in Florida. So he's very good. Obviously, Shemar Moore is one of the best when it comes to that as well. And Chuck Liddell, I met him.
Scott Porter's really good too, and he's playing with Kel.
Okay. Ooh, that's a good team. Look out for Scott Porter and Kel Mitchell. I met Chuck Liddell last year at the Throwdown, and he is probably the most massive man I've ever seen in my life. Like, his biceps have biceps. And
who's this?
Like, Chuck Liddell, former UFC fighter. I gave him a handshake, and my hand was almost broken on impact.
He told me the story that every single cornhole player can relate to. He went on a tangent about, man, sometimes I throw and it works, and then sometimes it's like I've never played before. I can't get the bag to do what I need to do. It's like I think I'm good, and then I'm not good. I'm like, okay, dude, we can all relate to this story. You're one of us. What can I say?
I'm a big Liddell fan. This is going to age me a little bit, but UFC 1 came out when I was in high school, and oh my goodness, I couldn't get enough of that. So I was a huge fan until it started turning into like UFC hundreds, but pre-rules. No gloves, no weight divisions. I mean, you had boxers with one glove on going up against a Samoan, whatever. Karate guys in their gis, going up against a grappler or a wrestler. So back in those days, yeah. And Chuck Liddell came in right after they started to implement some structure. Let's do weight divisions. Let's actually put some little gloves on these guys, because people were getting just torn up, with bare knuckles. But yeah, Chuck quickly became my favorite. Man, I watched him for years and years. Never had the chance to meet him because I haven't made it to McKenzie. But if I ever do, I'm not much of a starstruck guy. Like, to me, you're just the next dude. But Chuck would probably be one that I'd try and track down and say, hey, man, what's up? Just do a little introduction.
Well, he'd be all about it. He's very, very friendly. All right, time for some buy or sell. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right, first one. Graham Davis are a bigger threat than Smith Richards at the Throwdown. Jake?
Absolutely. They're the reigning champs at the Throwdown. They have so much team chemistry playing outside in these conditions. And to be quite honest, I don't think Mark and Tony are going to play well out here, if you think about it. Because what has been the topic of conversation the entire time? The weather, right? The conditions, the wind. I think Mark Richards throws too soft of a bag. He has one of those loft type of approaches, letting the bag do the work with the slickness of the bag. And I think that's going to end up being destroyed by Mother Nature. So I don't have a lot of faith in Mark and Tony. I think Jamie and Eric will very easily finish better than them. So I'm buying that.
Anthony?
Yeah, I'm buying. They're definitely going to be the bigger threat. You got to give Richards some props. He did make it. Was it Final Four with Alex Hicks? He made it pretty far with Alex Hicks. But we know Smith,
back when he was good. Back when Alex Hicks was good.
Yeah. Much love, Alex, my guy.
He's a kid. Oh my goodness, Jake.
But yeah, it comes down to Smith, dude. Smith, my dog too, man. But Smith will tell you himself, like, the board's got to be perfect, otherwise he's in his head. So as long as he can stay out of his head when, okay, everyone's going to have at least 50 bags blown off the board. You just got to let those go. Like, you can't carry that into the next round. At high noon, at 1, we all know what happens in a clear sky, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That board's got some heat on it, which means you have no humidity, which means you are zipping. So rely on that nice slide you have. Get away from the roll bag. Just start running bags. If Smith can stay out of his head and just be smart, they'll make it far. But got to give the edge to them. I'll buy.
There's a reason why we use basic scoring and not bag tracking at the program. We don't need to see our PPRs during rounds. We don't need to see that.
That's a good point. And Smith is one of those guys whose confidence really is tied to output. And I don't recommend that, but that is definitely how he operates. If the bags are doing what he wants, he's unstoppable. No one's going to beat him, but it's a thin line. All right, a West Coast player will shock the field and send a top 5 world's finisher home early at the Throwdown. Jake?
I could buy that. Yeah, for sure. There are a couple of top West Coast teams that we were talking about. Like Meesh, you had mentioned Vincent Frisch and Adrian Brunson. I love that team. That's a very fun team to watch. A couple others I have in my mind. Obviously, Spencer and Tony, right? You have to assume that they are going to make a deep run based on what they did last year. Gio Moore, Levi Haddock, right? Gio still from California, right? How about Ethan Farias, I forget off the top of my head who he's playing with, but I expect him to have a good run as well. South Sandoval, Richard Nyberg, I expect them to have good runs as well. And obviously there's some other teams that we're forgetting about, but I'm telling you, the home field advantage is a very real thing in cornhole, especially at the Throwdown. You think about the Calvies, all the Hawaiians are going to be there as well, and they get loud. So I expect a couple of West Coast teams to make deep runs, surprise some other people.
Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's outdoors. Anybody could take down a top 5. I mean, look, Jake went to 18-0 against Sims and Wilson, and he sucks. Saying? So it's possible. Anything is possible.
Ouch. We're slamming people today.
It's all right. Hey, it's all right.
No, don't forget, this is the Advanced Worlds bracket winner. Okay, like this guy's got game. We know he's got game. We know he's got game. I
beat Ty Thompson in the bracket final, and he won a pro singles title this year. So does that mean I get a pro singles title, or how does that work?
We'll always wonder. What would Jake have been if he won that freaking scored that last point? 1 point. I think he would have been great. I think Jake would have been awesome. But yeah, I agree. It can happen. I don't think it's going to be just anybody. I think it's going to have to be Forbes, Fabian R. I think a team like Dean Norton and Corey Gilbert, you're going to have the best time in the world with them, and you're going to win drinking beers at the bar, but they're not going to win this thing or beat a big team. I do like Brunson and Frisch. Haven't seen Frisch in a while. I don't know where his game's at. Has he even been playing? But we have
focused on baseball for sure.
We have seen it before. Remember, I believe it was the shootout version at McKenzie. What team ended up going deep? Meesh, trivia question. What Cali team ended up winning that shootout that we didn't expect to win?
I don't remember.
Tyler Parent and Brevin Valdivia.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that.
Yes, exactly. So it's possible, guys. It's possible.
That's crazy. Forbes, Fabian are the favorites to win the Throwdown. Are they the favorites, Jake?
Oh, I don't know if I can be comfortable enough to make them the overall favorites. No, I think they have a really, really strong chance to repeat what they did last year. But I think there's over 550 teams in here. So to say that they are better than all 560, 70, something like that is really hard. So I have to sell it. But, man, I think they are going to have a good run.
Anthony?
I agree. They're going to make a good run. We bought that they could beat a top 5 team. I think they can do that. They're going to be the best in their pool. And then you get down to the nitty gritty. They could easily be a top 4. They're not the favorites, though. We all know who the favorites are, and that's 100% Graham Davis for me.
The real MVP at Spencer McKenzie's is the fish taco stand. Jake?
Buying that easily, right? Because you look back, because I assume this question was made because it was supposed to be Trey doing this episode today. I had to step in for him. But I can very comfortably take over him. Last year, Trey and I had a little competition where we tried to see who could eat the most fish burritos throughout the entire weekend. And I'm pretty sure we both tied with like 6 or 7 burritos over a 5-day span. That's how good this restaurant is and how this place is, that we were willing to sacrifice going to check out other cool restaurants in the area to keep coming back to Spencer McKenzie's, because that's how good this place freaking is, Meesh and Anthony. I'm telling you, it is incredible. It's a small little stand in the heart of downtown Ventura, but it is delicious. I've never had anything bad. And
oh my goodness. Now I'm hungry.
Well, but
me too.
I mean, look, screw Chuck Liddell, screw the cornhole. Anthony, you got to come down here just so you can get your hands
flying out there for just the taco. All right, I'm gonna book the marriage counseling right now, and then buy me a ticket just so I get it.
Bring her to get the. Does she like seafood? She'll love it.
Oh yeah, there you go. Good call. If she has a fish taco, she'll understand. Everything will be chill.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we're learning.
Oh yeah, super good. Anthony, I know you don't know. You haven't had it. I know.
You don't eat much meat. Did you have a fish taco, Meesh?
Oh yeah, I love seafood. I honestly don't remember. Last year, actually both years, we brought Rome, and so it's just a little bit of a different vibe, because if it's like I'm just parenting, I'm not even. It's like survival basically. Like I got to get him chicken strips and French fries, and I'm just a little afterthought at that point.
Look, I'm a big guy. I don't know if I've ever been more excited to go to a venue solely because of a restaurant. It's pretty crazy how good this place is.
He's talking him up, man. He is talking him up.
I know. I'm going to clip this part and send it to them, so John can have this as a commercial. Okay, half the Spencer McKenzie's field will regret playing in the sun after forgetting sunscreen.
Dude, at what point do you learn your lesson?
They don't. They never do. That's the thing.
Well, that's the thing. And as a player, it's hard because you have to consider it's not just the sunburn, right? It's also the wind burn because there is a constant breeze coming off that ocean all day long. So you have to deal with that. But also you have to deal with the fact is that the temperature will not get out of the mid to high 70s. So for me, for someone who deals with 90-degree heat all the time, if it's nice outside, I'll just straight up forget to put it on because, it's nice. The UV isn't that bad. Like, I don't need it. And then I'll wake up the next morning not being able to move my outer extremities because of how much I hurt. So it is tough, and these players are going to have to deal with that as well.
You know, the one thing that the geeks are going to need to think about is you have to put your suntan lotion on with your non-throwing hand. What happens when you get lotion on your bag, Jake? Did you experience something like that?
I don't know. No, not for me because I never put it on. I just sucked it up. I have no idea.
But there was fish taco juice all over the throwing hand, dude.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
It's one or the other or both. The biggest competition at Spencer McKenzie isn't on the boards. It's in the beer garden, Jake.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So take a really good team like Jamie Graham and Eric Davis. They'll win their game 21-0, like 5 or 6 rounds, depending on who they're facing. It'll take about 5 minutes. Then it'll take them 5 minutes to walk to the beer garden. It'll take them another 5 minutes to stand in line at the beer garden. Then you gotta mingle with everybody. So people may actually spend more time in the beer garden than on the actual boards this weekend. So I'm buying that as well. But the beer garden is big.
I could tell you that was my competition as a pro. And remember, Uncle Bob was my partner, and that guy throws him down. Man, I remember one time we're going up against Jeff Reynolds and his partner at the time. And keep in mind, me and Uncle Bob, this is back in 2019, 2020, when cornhole was legit drinking at the same time. It wasn't as competitive. If it was in this new world, we wouldn't, right? But the competition was everybody was having a good time. So everybody's drinking. But not only were we up till 2:30 in the morning, crew cupping with, Ryan Smith and, a bunch of other people. That sixth floor bar at the top of the Cambria at Worlds. Oh my goodness. We would have crew cup stuff going up there, drinking until 2 in the morning. But yeah, this one time I remember playing Jeff Reynolds, and me and Uncle Bob had a few too many Jack and Cokes. Definitely my competition in that game, man. We barely made it through that game.
Well, it happens. What are you going to do? All right. Lastly, we're going to talk about the women's doubles event. This has been a fun one. I remember you guys are talking about your memories of watching Spencer McKenzie's. I remember watching Cheyenne Bubenheim, and this was my first entered the cornhole world, so I didn't know who she was, playing at this event in the dark on the beach because it wasn't in the same spot that it's in now. So it was smaller back then. And it was so late, and I was just like, this is incredible. Like, just slinging those bags in the dark, and it was cold and all of that. So been really fun to watch the women's events. But Jake, who are you looking at in that division?
Yeah, I took a good peek at this for a couple minutes, and looking through it, it's kind of hard not to go with the favorites, right? You got Gina and Cheyenne. Obviously, you have Riley Schaaf, Caitlin Alshouse, the women's doubles world champions, running it back. You have Deb Odom and Bella Suprenant, who have had a lot of success, especially this past season. How about Sam Finley, Elizabeth Tennyson? They don't not normally playing with each other, but on paper, that is a very, very good team. We mentioned Sam Finley earlier, but Elizabeth Tennyson, she can throw the bag too. And another team I'm looking out for are these Calvi sisters out of Hawaii, Alyssa and Michaela. We talked about it a lot already today about the home field factor being from California. While they are from Hawaii, you will see a lot of them travel over to here in California a lot. They play in the state of California quite a bit. I think they are going to have a lot of family walking around and watching all of their games, and that may stress their competitors out a little bit. So I think I'm very comfortable with giving Alyssa and Michaela a big run in this women's doubles bracket. But again, I think it just comes back down to the conditions, right? If you're picking a team who's going to win, you got to be thinking about a team who throws a flat bag, who throws the bag hard, who throws it consistent, and can maybe get a little pop on a roll or a cut or something like that. But again, you got to be careful with that wind. I think I give a slight edge to Riley and Caitlin because, first of all, Riley Schaaf may have the hardest throw in the entire women's division. I played a sit and go with her at the World Championships. Those sticky boards in the headquarters were throwing her sticky lucky bag Lucianos, where she was just throwing 4-bagger after 4-bagger, and I could not even get the bag to the hole on the slow side. It was actually insane watching her do that. So I give a slight edge to Riley and Caitlin because obviously they both have those flat bags. They both throw them hard. But if I had to go away from them, I think my next pick would probably be Sam Finley and Elizabeth Tennyson. But again, there are quite a few other, there are a lot of teams on this list that I have never heard of in my life before. So maybe they can come out of the woodworks and surprise me. But for right now, I got to go with Riley and Caitlin or Elizabeth and Finley.
Anthony, anyone sticking out to you?
Yeah, I agree. You actually covered, all the people I was going to talk about, but I just got to kind of talk a little bit more about Riley Schaaf. If you missed the episode from last week, I took that she's going to be the women's world champ next year. I think her stock keeps rising for me. I think that duo of Allhouse and Schaaf are going to do really, really well. The only other name you didn't mention that kind of stood out for me, and this is kind of historical for me, just a moment in my career, going back, I think it was my rookie season commentating on NBC Sports, but you got Amanda Kurth and Tina Stacy on the list. Yeah, that's Kurth. And she can throw, man. That's Brad Kurth's wife, man. She could sling them. She's actually a really good player. And I think Tina Stacy is mom. And they did really well. They made it all the way to the broadcast court on NBC Sports. So they even have broadcast experience. So that name stood out for me as well.
All right, you guys. Where'd you go? There we are. You guys ready for some hot takes?
Let's do it.
All right, Jake, you want to start us off?
I like it. All right, let's do it. My hot take for the weekend. Zach Aiken and Hayden Gonzalez will make the Final Four broadcast, but the winners of the 2025 Throwdown will be Spencer Fabianar and Tony Forbes.
You sold on them being
this is so
favorites.
crazy.
I know. I know
it's a hot take. It's a hot take.
Oh, man.
But I'm going with it.
Okay.
Dude, this is so crazy. Like, we're on the identical path. So I did the same thing. I said Gonzalez and Aiken make the Final Four.
No way.
But my winner was different. I'm going to go with Farias and Clausen.
Okay.
Ooh,
mine is right in alignment with all. This is not even interesting at this point. So my hot take is that because of the fact that this is an event that drinking is prevalent, a junior team will be your winners because they can't partake in said activities. So either way, all of us have juniors.
All of us have juniors.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
I mean, Tony and Spencer are technically not, right? They're both 18, I believe now, right? But close enough.
And here's the difference. How many juniors are just indoor cats? Like, I like indoors only. How many juniors are out there slinging them outside? I think most of them came up indoors playing in tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, that's actually a good point. That makes it hotter, at least. All right, guys, that's all we got time for. Everyone have an amazing weekend, and Jake, safe travels coming over to the West Coast, the best coast, and we'll see you guys next time.